I'm mixing a fresh batch of brioche dough, getting close to having something a little bit closer to final. Actually, this one is destined for some photography tomorrow ahead of our holiday menu, so it's refined enough. So let's see where I landed here. Been struggling a little bit with temperature control on this dough. This one's nice 85 degrees, so I'll take it. It's actively cooling down to the ambient temperature here, so no complaints. See the quality of the dough itself. Nice strong dough. We're basically just about passing a window pane at this stage. So a little weaker than a window pane pass, but it's gonna get a little time to bulk, so should be good. Got my brioche dough in here. Get it ready for shaping in a little while. Trial number 2 of our new Red Mesa loaf, 100% proof flour mill flour, our first true base bread flour made with tempered wheat from this year's harvest, grown locally. So excited about this bread. Can't wait to make it again. This is trial number 2, and in trial number 2 I'm mostly just going to be working on shaping a little. Last week's were a little bit longer shapes than what I want to go for this week. I want to tighten up the shaping a little bit and go from there. So I got my flour and water here. I'm going to start a nice long autolyse, give it a good hour today and see how that plays too. We'll let that be for the time being. I'm going to do some preparations for some special pastries that we're trying. Running 3 pastry tests today. So the team's already prepared me some croissant dough. Yesterday we also prepared a pecan frangipan, and I'll show you what the final product looks like. But this is just ground up pecans. Made a frangipan out of this, and then par-baked a sheet of it in order to put into a plain croissant. Today we're gonna bake that off and finish it with some maple icing. So gotta make the maple icing for it. I'm working on a savory pastry as well. It's gonna be like a 3-for-1 if I can pull it off. So currently we use bechamel on our ham and cheese croissant. Really kind of a basic bechamel there with the ham and cheese. Adds a nice moisture to the ham and cheese. I think it makes it pop. I really would like a white pizza on our menu to join our pizza lineup. And the white pizza sauce is bechamel based, then doctored with parm and garlic. Well, I was thinking, can I just use a white pizza sauce instead of bechamel on the ham and cheese? Absolutely. I think it would give it a little flavor, make it even that much better. There's already parm on top of the ham and cheese croissant, so no biggie there. What else can I do with a white pizza sauce? I can make the pizza, that's product number 2. And while we're at it, let's go for a savory Danish with a white pizza sauce base and roasted asparagus on top. So nice little savory option there. What I'm gonna be doing this morning is blanching the asparagus. Then that's after I cut it to the length that I want. And then placing it on top of the par-baked Danish shell and finishing it for about 8 or so minutes, just like we do with lemon curd. While we're at it, I'm also going to test a third pastry today, and that's a pumpkin curd Danish. So just make standard Danishes and then finish them off with a pumpkin curd. So nice little pastry test this morning. So to get ready for what I need to do a little bit of chopping of pecan halves so that the maple pecan croissant after egg washing can get finished with these. I need to make a maple icing, and then I need to blanch and prepare my asparagus. So let's go. I'm gonna start on the asparagus. So I don't need these to be extremely long. I'm really just after the spears. These are, after all, going to be square danishes, so they're kind of small. So we'll leave the asparagus there. Why did I choose blanching? Well, I got this guy. All I'm gonna do is pour boiling water directly on top of these. That's where it's very helpful to have a water boiler. And the whole point of this process is so that I don't have to do the whole like 15 to 20 minute cook time on these. Rather, just give them quick blanch now. We'll strain them, put them in a Cambro, and then just top the par-baked Danish shells. So just gonna walk over and find a strainer, and that's about how long I'll keep these in the boiling water. Well, this is quite an overkill strainer, but it'll do. Nice, easy. I got a little softening here, but should make for a much quicker finish in the oven. I'm gonna prepare this maple icing, and for it I need a little brown butter. No biggie. I got my induction burner going. Gonna grab some butter, brown that up, and then finish up the maple icing so that we can go up front and start baking. So up to 77 grams here of butter. Throw it in the pot. Just looking for a light browning for this amount of butter. It's gonna go pretty quick. Browning butter just adds flavor to the whole icing. So it's kind of like same concept of why do you roast nuts before you use them, or why cook something before using it? Brings out flavors, brings out a little bit of that aroma and caramelization, and so the overall final maple icing will have that kind of richer flavor as a result of doing this prerequisite. Key is not to overdo it. It's just keeping the stir going, keeping it moving mostly so it doesn't burn. I can get more even browning. Butter can go really quick, so leave it unattended for a moment and you'll have black butter instead of brown butter. Already getting some browning effects on the sides. Don't want to overdo this, so let's go ahead and cut it there. Got a nice aroma. I'm going straight into the mixer because the rest of it is just going to come in here. I'll rinse this guy off, putting this away, just get myself a little cleaned up. Let that butter come down in temperature a bit. Prepare the rest, scale it out, and then we'll mix it up. Powdered sugar next. Typically when I see butter and sugar, I think let's get those two ingredients together first. Get a small container again, 260 here. Add that to the butter and get those two incorporated. And come back here and scale out. It's a couple more ingredients. Nice. Let those two come together. Pinch of salt. Oh, it's not bad. It's actually a full 176 here. 30. There's 100. All right, pretty good. I need a bit of vanilla, it's like about 2 capfuls. Awesome. Got all the ingredients now. Bring these together. All right, see if we can make this a nice and smooth icing. I'll consider it done when there's no more chunks in it. Right now I see some chunks of the powdered sugar still. Getting there. It's looking pretty good now. One final bowl scrape. Smells good too. Smells like sweet maple with butter. All right, while that finishes incorporating, I'm gonna find and see if I can get lucky getting a squirt bottle around here. We have pre-rinse soapy water here on this side. Go to proper rinse now. Sanitizing solution on this side, and then air drying over here. Last bit of prep so we can go up to the bakehouse. Some pecans that I'm gonna roughly chop for the topping. I don't really want a meal. I want more of a chop, so that's why I'm not using the meal that we already have. They just need to be small enough that they'll adhere to egg wash, but large enough that you can still tell that it's a pecan. At scale, I can probably just find these already chopped roughly. We'll see. I think we did last year. You can also just prepare them in a food processor at scale, just not quite as much as you would if you were making the frangipan filling. So just two separate food processing events there. But this works for what I'm doing right now. Just topping about 12 today, I think. Just about there on these. Let's go one more pass through them all. Break up any very large chunks. All right, I'll take it. Let me get a deli container, and usually the wholesalers will sell these like as pieces, like pecan pieces. Got that. So that makes my sweet pastry. I've got this blanched asparagus for my savory. I want to finish my red mesa loaf mix. This Autolyse has been going for a little while now. No sense in keeping her back. So let's get the numbers. 918 Harriet, 112 salt. So I'll get the 112 salt really quick. Right up there, 109, 111, 112. Now I need to get a harder measure, 918 grams of Harriet. So let's go in this bucket. It's not a lot of Harriet. So we're at about 600, 700. I'm gonna stop. And got 1100 there. So now we'll actually get a more precise measure on this side. It's gonna be like most of this, a little too far. Perfect. It's 924. Some of it's probably not gonna make it in the bowl. Check the Autolyse. Already pretty strong for just coming together. Not quite a window pane, but close enough. And we'll get the salt. Go 2 minutes to incorporate on low, and I'll start with 5 minutes on high. It's looking nice. It's not very cold right now, so I can really kind of very well develop the dough at this point to bring the dough temperature up to a reasonable level. Don't want it to be too cold ever, especially with sourdough. It's a nice way to sort of lose the game right away if you don't ever get your dough warm enough. Still got 4 minutes. I think get a decent dough by that point. It's already looking nice. All right, we're at a more comfortable temperature already. High 70s. No real issue with that. I'm actually hoping with the slightly longer mix time today that the dough will be just a little less sticky for me. It's probably not by much. It's still pretty sticky. While this finishes up, I'm gonna get a cart ready to bring to the bakehouse with all my items. This is the maple pecan frangipan par baked. It's not baked all the way, but baked enough that now you can roll up a croissant with it. So this is a way for us to bring this product this year in a single bake rather than the twice bake version that we made last year, which is a little harder on our team to pull off regularly. It's my pumpkin spice curd that I'm gonna be testing on some Danish shells too. So I'll make myself a supply level. One more for safe measure. Okay. On go the blanched asparagus, chopped pecans, maple icing, this white sauce. This is ready. I'm afraid there's no mercy on this dough being sticky. Still quite sticky. This dough is not for the faint of heart. A lot of people complain about our other doughs being sticky. I can pretty much always unpeel my hand from them, just being used to them. This one brings it to another level, but probably has something to do with stone milled flour. The right thing to do is to get this bowl clean while it's still fresh. So otherwise I'll just pay the price later. So just like excited about the things that I want to do next. And it's one of those feelings you kind of have to fight when there's things that need to be done first. It's fine working on inspiration. I think it's even good, but you gotta also know when to rein in your own inspiration and do the things that are less fun but set you up for success. No better example than cleaning the mixing bowl. This dough's done. So happy with the result of this that I'm not eager to change the formula right now, despite the dough being less than comfortable to work with. We'll see. I mean, it's worth running a test at a slightly lower hydration and seeing what it's like. But I think that to some extent just gotta live with it. It's not like a wet sticky, it's just more this particular flour coming together with water. So yeah, you can improve on it for yourself by lowering the hydration, but I don't think it's gonna really make too much of a difference in the overall experience. Let's get this mixer reset and move on. Top edge of the inside of the bowl towards the middle, with steel wool just loosening up any dough that's left. Gotta do the same around this bar, and gotta do the same for the actual dough hook. This particular mixer is a 40 quart, and I find it a little awkward to clean. It's like not quite obviously small enough to clean in a sink, but it's big enough that you have to clean it, you know, like you clean the bigger mixers, but it's small in the sense that you can't really reach into all the crevices as easily as when you're cleaning that one. It still goes faster than cleaning this one. I feel like this is a good half-hour adventure to clean the big one. Yeah, that's an exaggeration, but so this one cleans up a little faster, but kind of makes you put in the effort. But I'll feel good about it knowing I'm leaving my station clean. That way if I end up having to jet out of here for something else later on, I don't have to come back and clean up, or worse, ask somebody to clean up after me. It's like my worst nightmare. Just don't like doing that. Let's see if the pastries are still in here. If they left them. Got these fully proofed maple pecan croissants. Same thing, different form factor. And I've got a couple trays of blank danishes. So this is all that we're gonna be baking. Let me kick the extra racks out of here for order. These are just ramekins that are used during the par baking process so that we end up with a well. Yeah, these are basically just little weights that we pull off after the pastry's been par baked. 13, 14, 15. Let's get these egg washed. You can go in right with. This particular egg wash is a little less about beauty, a little more about sticking the nuts to it. I think Jamie was right to test this form factor, the pain au chocolat form factor with these, because we get a nice amount of the nuts on top could be very favorable. I think you can get quite a few nuts on this form factor too, but they just have more of a tendency of slipping off due to all the ridges. I like being generous with these kind of applications, especially since some will probably come off during the bake anyway or before the final product is served. All right, these can go in right with the par-baked danishes, although these will stay in the oven full cycle, whereas the danishes are gonna get pulled early. Oven's ready for me. I'm ready for it. Let's go. Getting a nice bake off here. Pretty puffy Danish shells. So we'll let those guys finish up here. Should be in good shape. A little easier when the pastry's cooled off just a little, but I've got other things to do, so I want to get through this. Once I get all these off, there's nothing stopping me from topping them all, so be in great shape. What's nice about the sourdough croissant dough is I'm about to build both a savory and a sweet pastry, and the same base serves both interests so well. It's such a unique dough, hard-earned, unique dough that goes all the way to the beginning of our story. It's one of the ones that I'm probably gonna just have a lifetime of a little bit of pride over, especially when I consider the first couple of years of hand laminating, even hand mixing the croissant dough, and just taking the time before there was really, I mean, it's still very rare, sourdough croissant dough, but when we first started this adventure, it was mostly unheard of. And so there was no resources, you know, like now we are a resource for other people that are trying to do this, and you know, some of the literal best of the best operations end up wanting to play with sourdough croissant dough. It's also an interesting amount of sourdough croissant dough sometimes here in the valley. It's like we have the highest proportion of sourdough croissants probably of most places on earth, and you just got to wonder, like, did we have a lot to do with that given we were the first? These guys look good. Some of the nuts got a little toasty, but overall they're looking okay. Now I'll just drizzle this with icing after they cool a little. That's the thing, I was mentioning that there's sourdough croissants out there in the world these days, and you never really know, are they actually sourdough, are they hybrid? It's kind of a frustrating situation out in the world that there are standards and regulations for some things, and some of the things you would want regulated are not. I personally think that food labels should be heavily regulated. I think that consumers have the right to know what they're eating, what they're buying, and I don't think that it should be a flippant thing where you can, at the worst, literally dump lactic acid in a yeasted dough and call it sourdough. That's what a lot of the industrial players do. But then I personally think it's equally as troubling when an artisan shop will call something sourdough, but it's actually a yeasted bread that's hybrid. So it has both the sourdough starter and yeast. And of course then the yeast is doing the primary leavening, but the sourdough starter is acting like a flavoring agent and offering some fermentation. But it's not the same thing as a fully fermented pure sourdough. And I think that it's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong inherently with making a hybrid product, but I do think that the people that do make hybrid products should be required to disclose them to the public as such, so that there's no ambiguity, and so that those of us who are going through the trouble of making fully sourdough products are recognized for those efforts, because they are just different efforts. There's more to it than that too. Of course, like, we also should consider digestibility. Sourdough, when paired with long fermentation, has been shown over and over and over again to be more digestible, easier on people's gut health and digestion. And we have many products, or many customers that tell us about how the products that we make are easier on them when they go to eat them. But now those same people could potentially be deceived when going to a shop that is claiming their products are sourdough, but they're not. You know, those people, having experienced the real deal, then go and experience something that is labeled the same, but it's not the real deal at all. So I get a little troubled by that. It's one of the things that I am less excited about in our industry. So I have two different versions of this white sauce. They're only differing in how the garlic was treated. One used fresh garlic and one used roasted garlic. So we'll go half and half. That's the roasted. Well, I'll go 9 with roasted and 6 with not. So I'm going to put a scoop in each one. Now move on to the roasted. And the sticker label on the tray is on the roasted side, so I'll remember that. It smells so good, this sauce. The rest is going to be for the pumpkin curd. I don't know how many spears I'll end up with, so I'm just going one at a time for now. I think we'll end up definitely getting multiple on each. Asparagus is kind of a top choice when building savory danishes out there in the world. I think it's fairly easy to handle. It's striking in its appearance, the spears. That's mostly why I chose it. I also realized it would be nice and easy to prepare with the ability to blanch it. I think like it's a visual thing with the spears that make it an interesting choice. I'm hoping to get 3 on each. I think 3 will look solid. Kind of like little wheat stalks. I'm not sure if all of them will get a third, but most of them should. Typically odd numbers look better, just like our baguettes get 3 or 5 scoring lines. So there's a reason for the odd numbers there, logic. But a few will be left with just 2. And it'll also help me to differentiate between the 2 kinds. So, all right, got 3 on a bunch of them now. Pretty easy on the pumpkin curd, just a dollop in each. We have a local yogurt maker making our lemon curd and now this pumpkin spice curd. Culture Clash Yogurt, they are a fellow farmers market vendor out in the world of Gilbert, make a high quality product from scratch and saves us a little bit of time on prep since we have a lot of other things going on all the time. Set this for 6 minutes. Good temp. Green button. All right, that should bring all of that to completion. Icing might be just a little thick for squirt bottle. It's gonna be fine. The oven didn't really cool down as much as it should have according to the program on this, which I think is part of the contributing factor to the nuts getting a little singed on top more than I would like. But overall, I think we've got a good first trial for these. I think between the pumpkin curd that's sitting on the table for the pumpkin curd Danish and this maple pecan croissant, I would choose the maple pecan croissant all day long myself. A lot of people start asking us for pumpkin curd this time of year, and it is delicious, especially if it's spiced. But I'm just personally not that crazy for pumpkin, so I I don't do pumpkin pie like a lot of other people around this time of year. Just not really my favorite, but that doesn't mean we can't do a good job making it. It's not like I won't have one, it's just we have some great choices around here and I would just probably choose something else instead. Always happy to delegate the decoration to others. This is not my favorite part of the process. Everybody's got their thing, but just as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, where's Sophia when I need her? She lives for this stuff, and a lot of people do. It's great. I live for other things. Probably would have been better to make a little more of this. Really makes for less exciting decoration when you can't finish a line. Really want that icing to set, so they're gonna need to cool off for a moment before we dig in. See what we've got going on here. Not quite at the right temp for the curd to set. 120 on the curd. So we'll go another 4 minutes probably. Every time, the green button, every single time. I'll never learn. Stretching and folding this local loaf, the red mesa loaf. First stretch and fold. Dough feels nice now. After a little rest, checking on this brioche. Also just give it one fold over. It's ready to be shaped, so come back for that in just a moment. Got a few more things to do in here. I'm pretty confident the bake will be just right now. So time to give these a try too. I'm gonna try the one made with the roasted garlic. Here it goes. Not unhappy about that at all. You wanna try? So this side is plain garlic. This side's roasted garlic. Yeah, you got roasted. The asparagus was overdone. Kind of shriveled.
Yeah.
The sauce is delicious with the pastry. Not sure we need as much sauce though.
Yeah.
A little less. I mean, I love sauce, so I wouldn't mind, but probably for balance, a little less. This is the same, but made with not roasted garlic. Let's see what. It's more subtle, which I expected. When the asparagus is right, it's gonna make it better. Because I got like the smallest amount of asparagus flavor in there. Need to really bump up the asparagus flavor by cooking it right. Classic shape and more of the like pain au chocolat shape. I really like it. Last year's was twice baked, which was like a really heavy pastry. This year's is like lighter, airier. You get more of all the flavors without it just being a sugar bomb. But that's kind of how I feel about pastries in general.
I like this one more than our oven.
It's good. Really good. So I'm just finishing these pumpkin curd danishes with a little powdered sugar. These look like the real deal. Set pretty well. Do the Dairy Queen test. All good. Let's give it a try. Really pleasant. The pumpkin curd is spiced. It's mild. Baked just right to set, but not overdone. People are gonna get excited. And despite pumpkin not being my favorite thing, I'm really enjoying this one. I actually don't want to put any of these down. All the stuff I tried today, which is a problem because you can't have full amounts of 4 pastries. So, but that's a good sign that I don't really want to put any of them down. The weakest link was the savory. I think only because of the asparagus and the amount of the sauce I think could be reduced. So if we get the asparagus baked right, it'll be a nice item. Behind you. So I'm just gonna give the red mesa loaf a fold, and then we're gonna scale out this brioche. 100% tempered grain dough.
All right. Is this the same formula as last time?
Yeah, pretty strong, right?
It really is. What was the hydration on it?
76.
76?
Well, plus the sourdough starter. Once you get the sourdough starter, it's in the 80s.
Okay.
55 times 36, 1980. All right, so most of this brioche is going to go to cinnamon rolls, and then we'll have some left over for the dinner rolls as well. So first, 2 sheets, 3,500 grams for the cinnamon rolls. Dough feels good today. There's one. Do you want to just like fold this together and then make it into a rectangle? Same here. I already forgot my calculation. 1980. So 1980 is the number that I need in order to make 36, and that's what fits onto these divider rounder trays. See where I start. That's way more than 1980. About half. 1890. Man. It's a little too off. It's off by 80 grams divided by 36 rolls. Okay. They'd be 2 grams smaller each. I'm going for it. I think 2 grams is within the acceptable limit. To even it out, do that. It's not a production batch anyway. I'm just trying to get good, nice looking rolls for photos, and the 2 grams difference per roll is not going to make a difference when it comes to photography. Okay, so next I'm going to flour the top and then come over on this side and press it. They're pressed out now. We'll let them relax for a moment. Meanwhile, I'll start dividing the red mesa loaf into its 500 gram pieces. So yeah, double meanings all around on the name, which is why I named it this way. Red Mesa's consider a sacred Native American mountain nearby. The grain's grown locally, so I think that's kind of cool. It's also a red wheat, so that's the double meaning there. The word mesa in Spanish means table. Many bakeries have table loaf. In fact, like when we first took over Proof, Jared was making table loaves. I think that also makes for a double meaning. And that's the idea behind this loaf of bread anyway, just a loaf for every table. It's smaller, more approachable, so some of our younger crowd that doesn't have families yet hopefully will enjoy this one. In general, looking at how do we reach those folks since we have more locations in areas with younger demographics. This is one of those ways. Also kind of interested in exploring selling like the giant niches that we have by the pound so that people can just buy however much they want. And that's kind of an interesting way of selling the largest bread we make in a smaller form factor. So after this pre-shape, I'll give it a tighter batard final shape versus last time. But I think it's gonna go brioche rolls first, and then I'll finish up with these. Probably best to turn on the machine. Gosh, just saves a lot of time. Rounding 36 pieces at a time. Not the best today. Gonna have to fix these. Still not the best. So we have to fix these. And then if you wanna arrange them in sixes, like in their 6-packs basically, let's do the final shape on these. So what I'm doing now is stretching out this pre-shape into a triangle, folding the top over, doing some stitching down the length of the dough, and then the tuck and roll to finish. Tuck and roll, tuck and roll. And then at the end, tapering the edges. It's kind of a fat center with tapered edges, rolling in the rice flour, and then arranging these on the couches, one behind the next. This video alone will save you tens of thousands of dollars. We're gonna talk a little bit about bakery layout, maximizing the holidays. Refrigeration is also extraordinarily expensive. What's gonna happen when you're done with your mix? Task switching is an efficiency killer, and organization is critical in all of this. We borrowed around $800,000. If we don't honor those commitments to these banking relationships, we have everything on the line. Our house, our bakery equipment. It's one thing to use other people's money to grow. It's another thing to use other people's money to survive. Why would you take the risk to build, say, $1 million bakery if you don't have $1 million of sales to support it? There is a much higher chance of failure because you have to pay the bills for that space. How do you transfer those sales logically into your production system so that your teams can be organized, that you can buy the right amount of ingredients perhaps a week before that order is placed? The more you leave up to chance, the harder it is to ever really get it right. I wish that it was only flour that I had to deal with. We store 280 different SKUs of items. Cleaner supply that we need for washing the floor. Maybe it's barrels of olives. As you scale, you need space to accommodate every single thing that you buy on a recurring basis. There's nothing worse than going through an entire build-out process, spending every last dollar that you have, or worse, that you borrowed in order to build out, only to learn that there's this extra $20,000 you have to spend here, or this extra $10,000 that you have to spend there. What I'm trying to do is point out the things that tripped me up in building my bakeries in hopes of saving you the headache of learning these things in the midst of construction and the actual money that you could save by knowing this up front. There's disruptions in business. There's things that will knock you out. If you're building a business that's completely dependent on you, what are you going to do in those moments? Is it just simply shut down? That isn't a viable answer. You should know what your goal is. For us, we're trying to build something that's still going to be around decades from now. Proof has always been about community, grit, and an unwavering belief in doing meaningful work. We continue to receive messages from people around the world who had been following our YouTube channel and starting their own bakery businesses. To date, we've heard of around 500 startup operations getting off the ground, inspired by our story.
Why are we doing this in the first place? The joy of baking, the joy of acquiring new skills, the joy of just growing in general.
Every role matters. Skill-based roles can make or break everything that happens after the mix. This is a journey, not a final result. Get processes that are time-sensitive started. The skill required to handle ambient bread is higher. Ornamental scoring is going to be next to impossible. Your role in running your business is to keep things in balance. Never putting yourself in a position where one account has so much of your operational bandwidth attached to it. The problem is, proofers cost a lot of money for a very little amount of space, $35,000. Valentine's Day this year was on a Friday. It turned out to be our 6th best ever day. In 1 week, we do more than we did in the entire year 2017. Try to combine your data sources and build good reporting for yourself. Have the right people in the right seats. If you don't, make sure you're not just offering blind grace and expecting different results.
We'll train our physical skills. We'll train other things. Mental skills are no different. We just have to practice it.
Checking equipment as you go is important. Keep the space clear and organized. And hopefully some of the insights will help you avoid some of the traps that we have fallen into. Don't neglect this. Plan, plan, plan. And best of luck to you.